Hello, I'm Melanie Hellier, and welcome to another edition of Gardening 101, brought to you by the City of Brandon and Healthy Brandon. Today, we're at the Assiniboine Community College greenhouse with Sajjad Rao, who's an instructor and a researcher at ACC in the horticulture program. And behind the cameras is Justine Friesen, who's a City of Brandon programmer with Parks and Recreation. Today, our topic is microgreens. So at Healthy Brandon, we encourage everyone to eat healthy, and that's one of our main pillars. And microgreens seems to be a popular option these days to incorporate some healthy foods, nutritious foods into your meal plan. So Jad, can you tell us about the different types of microgreens there are, the nutrient value, and then lead us through, if we want to grow our own microgreens at home, how do we do that?
Yeah. Thank you, Melanie. As you mentioned, that this is something very healthy and can be used in a very healthy, beneficial. So microgreens, basically, I just want to let you know what the microgreens are.
Okay.
So the microgreens is, as its name said, or it's a micro and greens.
Okay.
So they are small and they're green.
Okay.
So they are not ripened and they are not enough germinated. So there's a bit in between after germination of a seed. So 1 to 3 weeks, though the green part, when they turn into a first true leaf of any seed what we grow, either it's a edible flower, either it's a broccoli, either it's a cereal seed, or either it's a cucurbitaceae family, either it's a peas, or either it's a gram, or either it's a chickpeas or whatever. So when they grow into a small 1 to 2 inches tall, so that it is called the microgreen.
Okay.
So at that stage, the microgreen has a potential nutrients available in the microgreen.
Okay.
So the research says it's almost like 9 times more nutrient as compared to the mature plant. So
Okay.
they are very healthy. They are very rich in nutrients, potassium, iron, zinc. So some of those deficiency we have in our healthy system. So they can compensate all those deficiencies very easily.
Okay.
The other good thing is that we can manage the microgreen for different crops. So it's not only a one crop, it's an edible flower. We can use a microgreen, we can produce microgreens from edible flowers.
Okay.
We can use for herbs. We can use for cauliflowers, vegetables. So it's a different types of vegetables, herbs and flowers we can use in those for microgreens.
Okay, I heard you mention peas and broccoli and radishes, some of those ones, as well as herbs and edible flowers.
And salads,
And salads.
and the salads.
Okay.
So that's the beauty of the microgreen is we can grow year around. Their turnaround is just like in 4 weeks to 5 weeks.
Okay.
It's from start to finish.
Okay.
And it doesn't need a very big equipment like the other healthy crop if you are maturing like tomatoes. So
Right.
we have to wait 90 days, 120 days to get a one ripened berry, right?
Okay.
So but in the microgreen we don't have to wait long. So it's just like in a small greeny 1 to 2 leaf of a structure which is very healthy, nutritious and easy to harvest, easy to seed.
Okay. And for us, with our long winters, this is something, a project we can do to keep growing our healthy foods during the winter time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the winter time, if you have like some lights or a shade near the window on the kitchen counter, so where there is a normal room temperature and some lighting conditions, so we can grow microgreens easily over there.
Okay, great. Okay, so Sajjad, can you lead us through how do you start the process if we want to do this at home?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's an year-round we can do it,
Okay.
and in a market or in a commercial store or in our nearby stores, we can find as a kit as well. So like an already made kit, microgreen, green pea microgreen kit. This has all the information written on the back of this kit. So it looks like this. There's an information stepwise written on the back of those kits. So how to do that? There is some soil media which looks like in a very slate, but it's like when we soak it for like in a couple of hours, so it will just soak it up.
So that's the soil.
Yeah, that's the soil or the
Okay.
growing media on which we are going to use. It's a plastic tray. So this is a ready-made kit, which is and we can use any seed as I mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a salad, it's a vegetable, it's an edible flower, or it's an herb seed, whichever you want to use as a baby greens.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we've got a package like this and it says microgreens on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, if you have like a small tray or a disposable tray or a kitchen handling some trays in your house or something like that, so that is good as well.
Good.
You
I
just
don't need to buy the kit. I
no,
can just use something at home.
something at home as
Okay.
well. So we need to spare one plastic tray or a disposable, or like even a styrofoam tray.
Okay.
We can use those as well.
Okay.
So what we just need is some growing media, like this is a Pro Mix, we can use it. So it's a small Pro Mix or a blended Pro Mix, which is some nutrients available already in the market. So we can buy that one.
So it's called Pro Mix.
Yes, called the Pro Mix. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a Pro Mix. So already it's a good media to grow anything. Just you need a level, almost like a quarter an inch or something like that.
A quarter
so
inch, okay.
yeah, like make a tray. So because the greens, microgreens, they're not develop big roots because we harvesting in a 3 to 4 weeks time.
Okay.
So we don't need a very good. They're just a very shallow, and just make a nice platform for them so they can easily grow. And whatever the seeds, it depends upon the seed. For example, if you are using these green peas or any other peas,
Yeah.
or different types of the seeds, so depending upon how hard their outer surface or the coat is,
Yeah.
soak at least like in 24 hours before.
24 hours for soaking.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to soak. So
Okay.
it will make them easy to germinate or to sprout.
And if you don't soak them,
It takes time, more times,
Okay.
and then you have to make sure that the growing media is moist enough to just to soak them when they are in the media.
Okay.
So that's the only difference. So it's like in a prep for easy sprouting or easy germination.
Okay.
So that will make easy and a uniform as well.
Okay.
So that the uniformity is good as well. So they are all like 1 to 2 inches. They are all same as you see in this picture. For example, let's say, so this in picture you can see they are all of the same size.
Right.
They are all the same shape. So when you are harvesting, so they looks like same in
Okay.
age, and they are good in growth.
Okay.
So if you're using this type of like a piece, so just spread it like very on the sides of the tray, very evenly.
So I don't have to go around with my measuring tape and measure
No,
1 inch
no,
apart?
you don't need to. Just
Okay.
like they are not overlapping each other.
Okay.
They are not crowded at a one place. So that's the only like the science behind it.
Okay.
So they are not crowding. They are not on the top of each other. So they looks like good and uniform.
Okay.
And see the gaps where the gaps are. So when they grow back, so they looks like a uniform. They all got a equal space to grow.
Okay.
And equal space for the roots, and they are not too much crowded as well. So they looks like in a shrink microgreens.
Okay.
So they looks like in a healthy microgreens.
Oh, healthy microgreens.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to pour the package out all at once.
No,
That's the
no,
yeah.
no. Just like
Yeah.
similarly, you see, I mean, it's like to some extent it looks like an even. So we can see it like it's not even like it's not 100%, but it's still. Is showing that they are all equally distributed, so they get an equal space and everything. So one packet, for example, for this type of a tray, this size of a tray is good. And once we have spread it out all over there, so just to make sure we just making a little bit of a push on it. So they are touching the growing media. So they are touching the growing media. And now we can see even the space as well. So they looks like evenly spread out. Sometimes I use the other tray to just to make sure they are all good.
Oh, okay.
Is it
Down on it?
just a little push,
Just a little bit. Okay.
just a little push.
Okay.
That's how it is. And just put a small Pro Mix on top,
Just a little to cover it?
just a little to cover. So if there is a light or any other disease or any other airborne something, so
Okay.
they will not infect the seed.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So some seeds are photoblastic. But normally not all of those seeds, they don't need a light right at sprouting. So again I will use the same like tray to see that if everything is properly packed, so they are even.
Push it down. Okay.
Push it down a little bit, not too much. We don't want to go into very deep.
No.
So just like, and we can feel it by our hands. So it looks like almost like in a
Okay.
good surface. So they are good to grow.
Good to go.
Yeah, and it was already moist. So Pro Mix was already moist. So we don't have to water too much. We don't have to make it wet.
So when would you water? This looks like it's a little bit moist. When would you suggest to water?
Okay, once the surface becomes like in a dry,
Uh-huh.
when we see it's a dry,
Yeah.
and we know the seed is not under too much, it's like just touching the top.
Uh-huh.
So we know its seed is getting dry.
Okay.
So when the seed is deep, then we think that might be there is a moisture below, so it will help. But in this case, it will not help.
Okay.
So when it goes, a little shower is needed.
Okay.
So just to make it moist again.
So do you mist it with a mister, or like would you use a watering can like that so it can?
It's a fine,
sprinkle?
yeah. It's a fine watering can is good.
Okay.
It's a fine means there's a small, I will say it's a sieve or a hose.
Okay.
So it will not disturb the seed placement.
Right.
So if you're just pouring like that hardly, it will split all the soil and disturb the soil. So I won't recommend that, or nobody would recommend that.
No, so that's
and
like
once,
a light shower.
yeah, just like in a trickle shower.
Okay.
And then if you have this type of plastic tray or any other tray to just to save from all those seed and giving a good light and lighting conditions as well, so that will help as well.
Okay, and so that just kind of
Yeah.
sort of like a bit of humidity for the plants.
From the humidity for the plants, evaporation, it will help reduce the evaporation whatever you do.
Okay.
And once their sprouts starts growing in a like in a germination, so they will be looks very uniform. They're getting all of them. They're getting the light equally. Just make sure that with the trays or the containers or the whatever the pot we are using or a ready-made kit, there should be enough light from all around.
So you want to have good light.
Good lighting
light.
condition. Yeah,
Okay.
good lighting condition, good warm condition. It's not like very hot, good warm condition.
Yeah.
So your germination will tell how good they are germinating. If they are all 100% they are germinating from all the corners, so means they are very well laid out, so germination is good. So just let them grow for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so the only time I would take that lid off is when I would be watering.
When you're watering.
Okay.
And once they are germinated well enough, they are standing in a 1 inch, that's fine. You can even remove that as well.
Okay.
Because they are standing to 1 inch. So from 1 inch to 2 inches, they have enough strength to get with the temperature and the environment and the climatic condition where they are placed.
Okay. So I'm excited. We've got it planted. We know how to water it. You said in 2 to 3 weeks.
After germination.
Okay. So then the whole tray is ready in 2 to 3 weeks. Do I cut the whole tray and that's it? Or
Yeah, you can cut the whole tray, or if you think that you started with a today and you just need a piece of a tea and still they are a shoot,
Okay.
right? They are not growing mature enough. Their taste is not getting bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's like your taste requirement is still there, still nutritious. So you can split into 2 to 3 days, or even a week. Like starting from a 1 inch to 2 inches.
Okay.
So it will take like 2 to 3 days anyway, 3 to 4 days, depending upon it's a salad, or either it's a vegetable, either it's a herb, or either it's a edible flower.
Okay.
So it depends upon what type of like greens we wanted to produce.
Okay. So if I cut a little bit off for today, can I just get one cutting off of that, or can I cut like in 2 more days because it'll grow a bit more?
Yeah, we can do like in split cuttings as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this tray might last me for how long with the cutting schedule?
Means we can go for like approximately or maximum, I will say it's a week time. We can go
How much?
a week time,
Okay.
like 3 to 4 working days, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So these shoots that we're going to grow from here, they're very healthy, they're very nutritious. What can we use them on as far as incorporating them into our diet? For salads, in sandwiches,
Like-
eat them like that?
I think it's as you mentioned, we can go in a salads, we can use in our diets, we can use in our sandwiches, we can use as it is.
Okay.
Yeah, just pour some like spices, some black pepper on them, or some any other like taste you wanted to develop, and just eat as a raw, because they're very rich, very nutritious, and depending upon your taste, it's depends how you wanted to use it. But there's no restriction that it cannot be used in a curry, it cannot be used in this one, so you can use it as it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
in most things.
In multiple ideas
Okay.
or multiple things you can use it.
And of course, before we use it, like anything else, we need to thoroughly wash it so that
Yeah,
it's clean.
we need to wash it.
Okay,
Yeah,
for sure.
and if you have like a small tray, you don't want to go into a one big tray,
Yeah, but-
and you want a small like half of this tray,
Yes.
and split it into 2 to 3 days. So one seeding today, an alternate seeding, like one on Monday, other one on Wednesday, and the other one on Friday. So
Okay.
it will give you a split harvest as well.
Oh, excellent. That's what we need to know.
Yeah, so it will give you like a split, and then you can rotate it for your week.
For my week.
And
Okay.
that's so yes, so 2 or 3 trays will be rotated for your whole week, and then it will go on a rotation. So year around you will be using 2 to 3 trays, and that's it. That's only the expense you are making it.
Oh, well, that's good, and that sounds really economical for
Yeah.
for folks to put into use too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now you mentioned that these at one time, this is basil, right?
Yeah, these are basil.
Yeah, and so this, before it got to this stage, could have been used as a microgreen.
Yes.
Yeah, because it would have been smaller, it would have been the smaller ones that we see.
They're very rich at this stage.
Okay.
Like when they keep growing on, so their nutritional value is less as compared to the stage when they are about 1 to 2 inches.
Okay. Okay, great. Do you have any other tips to tell us that we haven't already talked about?
I think that's the only, not the tip, I will say, it's a very healthy diet.
Yep.
It's very easy to produce.
Yep.
You don't need like too many things for it. You just need a seed. You just need a few trays, and I will encourage to do that because it's a very healthy. You can use in all of your meals, in all of your diets, and that will help you keep your all those things. They are very good in antioxidant.
Okay.
They are very good in antioxidant and phenols and all the other things. Even in the iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium. So they are very rich. So instead of taking all those, so they will be good.
Yeah, so it sounds like something that we can all incorporate into our daily meal plan, and sounds like something that's pretty easy to do. We don't need to go and spend a lot of money. We can just use things that we have around the house and get some Pro Mix to start out with. So thank you very much. This has been very informational.
No,
and
thanks.
you've got me so inspired. I want to go and start my own kit at home. So in keeping with that, the first 250 people that register on the City of Brandon's Park and Recreation page for this workshop will get a complimentary kit like we've shown you here, with the tray, the cover, the medium, and the seeds included. So the first 250, so get signed up now. And so that's our special treat that we have to offer you today. I'd like to say a special thank you to Sajjad for his time in teaching us this very inspirational class that we all want to get our hands into. Thanks to the City of Brandon for hosting this workshop on their City and Parks and Recreation page, and to Healthy Brandon for helping to make this all possible as well. So thank you everyone, and get out there and sign up for your free kit.
No, thanks Melanie.
Thank you.